Hello, I'm Bill Wade, a captain with Tampa Fire Rescue. Today's fire line can very easily be called Tampa Fire Department Starts Hearts. For many years now, Tampa Fire Department has had the motto of protecting property and saving lives. And with a new piece of equipment we're going to be introducing to you today, it's made our job a whole lot easier in the saving lives part. Many times each day, every month, every year, Tampa Fire Department responds to people who have gone into cardiac arrest. Their hearts have stopped due to a heart attack. Tampa Fire Department now has 40 automatic external defibrillators on all their trucks and inspectors' vehicles throughout the city. These automatic external defibrillators, you might have seen them on newscasts, deliver an electrical shock to the heart during a cardiac arrest in an attempt to revive the heart and get the heart started again. Tampa Fire Rescue came across these pieces of equipment, costing nearly $3,000 a piece, through a grant, money given to the city to do research with this equipment to see how effective it is. One of the first saves we had with that piece of equipment, an automatic external defibrillator, came from this firehouse, station number 8. It's in the Westshore district. On May 31st, 1997, a Miss Flora Stokes, a 64-year-old resident of the city of Tampa, went into cardiac arrest from a heart attack. The crew from Engine 8 got on the scene, properly used that automatic external defibrillator, and saved her life. This is the story about automatic external defibrillators. Firefighter Eric Irvin has been with Tampa Fire Rescue for about a year now. On May 31st, he was assigned to engine company number 8, the company that responded to assist Miss Flora Stokes when she went into cardiac arrest. Eric, when you walked in the house, I understand you're a childhood friend of her son. Did you actually recognize her when you walked in the house? Did you realize you were working on a friend of yours?
Not right off, because it had been a while since I had seen her or been in that area. So at first, no, I didn't.
And then when you got there, what were you all able to do with this automatic defibrillator that you hadn't been before in your professional career so far?
Well, right away we knew we had it on the truck, and we were excited about putting it into service. And once we realized that she didn't have a pulse and that she wasn't breathing, and in order to try to bring her back around, we first thing came to mind is, hey, let's use the automatic defibrillator. So we went and grabbed it off the truck and put it into use. And as you can see, it worked to our advantage at the time.
Now, you've done CPR on several citizens before. Probably some of those did not, unfortunately, make it back to life. How surprised were you when this little machine talked to you, you pushed one button, and it worked, and you got a pulse back? How surprising must that have been?
I was very surprised, but in the same token, I was very relieved to have something like that at your hands, ready to go. And I think it's a good thing. It gives us confidence. It gives us a little bit of relaxation to know that we have something like that to help assist us in our job. And
then today, when Miss Stokes came into the kitchen and said hello, how good must that have felt, seeing her alive and her son there with her, your friend from junior high school?
That was a real good feeling. It's hard to explain that. I guess then it all started to come into play, you know. Seeing her with him, her face became more familiar than looking in his eyes, seeing the thanks and the gratification he had for us doing the job that we did. Made everything worthwhile, you know. It's my job, you know. Of course, I'm still a rookie here with Tampa Fire Department, but it makes the job and everything worthwhile. It really made me realize what I'm doing here, why I'm here. And it's a good thing. It was a good feeling, very good feeling.
Mayor, as you're aware, Tampa Fire Rescue now has 40 of these automatic defibrillators on the street, and you just met one of the first ladies to survive her heart attack thanks to this piece of equipment. What would you say about this type of equipment being on your fire rescue apparatus?
I think this is tremendous. I remember, of course, the old ones that were kind of bulky and hard to use. This one talks to you, tells you exactly what to do. There's a little diagram in here.
Electrodes.
Tells you exactly what to do, and I understand if nothing's wrong with your heart, it doesn't do a thing. It just automatically fibrillates or defibrillates or whatever you call it your heart when you put it on there. It's a tremendous thing. It doesn't weigh very much. I may consider putting one in my car. It's simple.
And as you also heard, Fire Rescue also managed to get these through a grant. So therefore, there was essentially, for this $3,000 piece of equipment, there was no cost to your taxpayer, to the taxpayers.
Well, I think that's wonderful. But let me tell you, whatever the cost of the taxpayer might be for any equipment that you all need or police need, I think that no one should ever begrudge that. And I want to see that, that every equipment that the fire department, the police department need, that they get. This week, I think we're going to unveil 6 new fire engines, courtesy of the people through the community investment tax. You know, you all have 58,000 calls a year or something, and 38,000 of them are emergencies such as this one. 38,000. That's a lot of people that are helped. I've sat and watched you all cut people out of automobiles, use these things, keep people from bleeding to death, on and on and on a daily basis. You do a wonderful job that everyone can't thank you for as often as maybe they'd like. But police and fire should have every piece of equipment that's necessary to help people. End of story. And I don't think that anybody needs to gripe about what it costs or what it doesn't cost. And certainly when we get one through a grant, we're very happy. But you all shouldn't have old equipment and junk like you've had sometime in the past. And you're not going to if Chief Bodo and I can help it. All right.
And your fire chief, of course, is a paramedic himself. Chief Bodo, you've been on the streets for a good number of years now, and some people, they might think that we're grandstanding here saying this is a life-saving piece of equipment, but seriously, we now have recorded, within a month of having these on the trucks, we've recorded 2 long-term survivors. In other words, patients who had heart attacks, their heart stopped, and they were actually discharged from the hospitals to go home with their families, not just to go to a nursing home, but they went home with their families. What would you say about something like that? Have you ever seen anything like this in the past on the fire department?
No, I know with the equipment we've had in the past on our rescue cars, having to wait that extra time, we were fortunate to have 2 saves in a year. Now when you have this equipment out on every engine that we have, with the inspectors out there, we've got the city blanketed, we've got a much quicker response, we can cut the time in half, and that should make a significant difference. Well, you've seen it. With just 2 in 1 month's time, you've seen it.
Imagine how this makes 2 old men like Bodo and I feel.
I feel a lot safer.
When I was mayor before, really, you all just got the rescue cars. Everybody used to be transported by ambulances at the funeral home. And when I was mayor before, we started the little rescue car, and the telemetry system was put into effect in those days. And imagine, we've gone from that to many rescue cars, to 38,000 calls a year when you were doing 0, to something of this nature. So you wonder what's next. But it's all in the betterment of humanity, that's for sure.
It's an amazing transition over the...
You all are amazing guys. The fire department does a wonderful, wonderful job in this city. And when I say thank you, I say it in behalf of all of the people who benefit by your service. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Pete, and all of you.
We're standing here talking with Stephen Sharp of the Survivor Link Corporation. Mr. Sharp's company is the one that provided the AEDs to Tampa Fire Department. Probably the first question we need to ask is, explain, what is an automatic external defibrillator? I mean, since the 1970s, we've seen television shows with paramedics carrying around defibrillators, shocking people's hearts. What makes this piece of equipment so much different?
What makes the VivalLink AED so unique is that it's designed for the layperson, the non-paramedic first responder. The reason why it's called AED is automated external, and it's a defibrillator. The device is so easy to use that it voice prompts you through the American Heart Association defibrillation protocol, and allows a layperson, a non-paramedic, to use the equipment safely. It automatically analyzes the patient's cardiac rhythm, and if they're in a cardiac arrest or it has a shockable rhythm, it will automatically power up at a pre-programmed level. So it has pre-programmed shock levels, it's voice prompting, so it walks you through the approved resuscitation procedure, and it's very lightweight and compact. So that's what makes the new AEDs so much different compared to the late 1950s, 60s, 70s model defibrillators. They were manual defibrillators that required somebody to read a heart monitor or text screen. This device doesn't have that because it's designed for that person who's not trained to interpret rhythms on a day-to-day basis.
So basically this machine does most of the work for us, I understand, but now this is a medical device. Therefore there are certain laws regulating how medical devices are used, and you said there was some recent change in Florida law that allowed these devices to be used by lay people.
That's correct. Governor Childs signed a bill into law April 30th this past year that allows the Good Samaritan law to be changed or strengthened, in that there's no civil liability in someone using an AED. So if a responder uses an AED to someone on or in cardiac arrest, that they will not be held liable for using that piece of equipment. And number two, the training requirements in that law have relaxed to where a person who wants to use an AED has to have completed first aid or basic first CPR and show a demonstrated proficiency in use of an AED. So they're the training requirements that are significant, and the Good Samaritan law being strengthened that allows first responders to use this without concern.
All right, now you said training requirements, and you said actually this is not a hard piece of equipment to use, just a little bit of understanding of what a cardiac arrest is and how to use the machine. We've asked the crew from Station 8 to give us a hand, give us a demonstration. We have firefighter Donald Lloyd down here. He's going to be our patient. And we have Captain Ray Austin coming over here. He's going to be the rescuer. And I understand you're going to walk them through, and you're going to explain what Captain Austin's doing as he assesses this patient who's collapsed.
Correct. I'm going to come over this side here. Captain Austin's coming up on a victim that might be in cardiac arrest.
Are you okay, sir?
He's assessing to see if they're not breathing, unconscious, no pulse.
No pulse.
He's now going to open up the lid, and the device will begin to voice prompt.
Place electrodes.
He's going to place the electrodes in the appropriate position.
Place electrodes.
The electrodes being non-polarized, Captain Austin really cannot make a mistake as long as he puts them in the position that you see now. When the electrodes are applied, they'll begin to automatically analyze.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm.
Now we should probably mention at this point, this is a training unit. This unit will not defibrillate no matter what.
That's correct. This particular AED train does not have the capacitors built inside to develop a charge. Even though you'll hear the device charging, it will not shock.
Stand clear. Push flashing button to rescue.
Clear?
So all he needed to do is to push a single button to deliver a life-saving shock. The device now reanalyzes to see how effective that first shock was.
So he doesn't have, initially,
Do not touch patient.
or before this machine came along,
Rhythm.
he would have done CPR at this point. That's all he could have done. You're saying this machine delivering this electrical charge can actually save lives and put the heart back into a normal rhythm.
That's correct. The American Heart Association says if you have a choice between doing defibrillation and CPR, you do defibrillation via an AED.
Clear.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing
If
rhythm.
the device detects a non-shockable rhythm or the person has been converted, you'll get a voice prompt that says check pulse.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm. Check pulse. If no pulse, give CPR.
Do you have a pulse, Captain Austin?
I do have a pulse.
What would you do at this point if you had a pulse?
At this time, we would check to make sure that his airway was open, and we would start rescue breathing.
And at this point here, now, Captain Austin, you've been on the job now the better part of 20 years, nearly 2 decades. Have you seen such a life-saving piece of equipment before, so small, so compact, but yet so useful?
Not at all. Technology has come a long way, and it's a very useful tool. Mm-hmm.
And you've already had that one say with Miss Flora Stokes. Seriously, what do you think her chances of survival would have been without that external defibrillator that you had?
It would have been slim. We had a unit coming all the way from Gandy, which was about 4 or 5 minutes further out than when we first got there. So it would have been that much longer before we would have been able to defibrillate. With this machine, we were able to defibrillate right after we assessed that patient.
Thank you, Captain Austin, and good job. Miss Stokes, on May 30th of this year, you went into cardiac arrest at your house. Your heart stopped. Not a lot of people come back and talk about that. Do you remember anything about that day at all?
No, I don't. I don't know nothing about that day.
Did you feel sick at all? Or were you just yourself and...
I just went to the grocery store, and I come back in the house. And then I sat down and sofa talking to my brother-in-law, my son-in-law. And so he got up to go in the bathroom. And I come back, I was down on the floor, off the sofa. That's the last thing I know.
And next thing you knew, you woke up and you were in the hospital, basically?
Yeah.
Larry, probably the same question to you. Once again, this is your mother, right? Same question to you. Once again, a lot of people's mothers and fathers go into cardiac arrest, and they don't get a chance to say goodbye to him. What must that make you feel like, that you have her back and you have a chance to put your arm around her again?
I think I got a second chance, really do. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, because I knew the process and what goes on, and knows what happens during that time frame. And I also seen it in the hospital, and I knew what was going through, my mind. I knew what was going on, but I was like, oh man, is she gonna be there? Because they weren't for sure she's gonna be 100% again, or they're gonna be, in a coma, or even worse. So in my heart and mind, I feel ecstatic. I'm so happy right now. I just can't believe it. I can, just joy. I'm here again to talk to her and hug her and have her boy yell at me and stuff. Those things, those small things you miss when you know things might not be the same no more. And I appreciate every minute of it now.
And Ms. Stokes, now knowing that your life was saved with this brand new piece of equipment that wasn't even available maybe a couple of days before you had your heart attack, what do you think about that?
God, I love it. I think I'm great. And it had to be brother. It had to be him. And so, thanks.
And also must be very exciting for you that your son is going to be hired by Tampa Fire Rescue. So totally coincidental with this.
I did love it.
Larry, how long have you been working to try to get on with the fire rescue?
2 years.
And you've been through all sorts of training already?
Yes, went through the fire academy prior to that, also EMT class, so I'm already fire certified, EMT certified, so I did all that, so I just, waiting on the process to take effect.
That's great. Well, congratulations both of you, both not only for having each other, but also for getting the new career and ready to start.
Thank you very much.
That's true.
For over 100 years now, Tampa Fire Rescue has been proudly serving the public, protecting property, saving lives, and just like with this big piece of equipment behind us that we've used for so many years to help with that mission, now Tampa Fire Rescue proudly has these automatic external defibrillators to continue with the tradition of saving lives. For Fireline, I'm Captain Bill Wade. Good day. For the next few minutes, we're going to be showing you a videotape supplied to us by the Survival Inc. Corporation. This is actually a training video. And we're not trying to teach anybody how to use an automatic defibrillator. We simply want to give you an idea how easy it is to use a piece of equipment like this.
The VivaLink AED is designed for emergency use only on victims of non-traumatic cardiac arrest who weigh more than 90 pounds. When not in use, the VivaLink AED's battery is maintained by being plugged into its battery charger or by a monthly overnight charge. When you witness a cardiac arrest or receive an emergency call notifying you of one, follow these rescue procedures. First, call 911. Or the appropriate emergency response number for your area. Then, unplug the VivaLink from its battery charger. The VivaLink must be unplugged from the charger before you attempt a rescue. Take the VivaLink with you and rush to the victim as quickly as possible. Remember, time is crucial to survival. Assess the patient's condition following these guidelines. Shake and shout to establish unconsciousness. Look, listen, and feel to see if the patient is breathing. Check for a pulse. If the patient is unconscious, not breathing, and you don't feel a pulse, lift the lid of the VivaLink AED. When you open the lid, the VivaLink automatically tests its own readiness. Following the test, you will hear this prompt.
Place electrodes.
Open or remove the patient's clothing to expose the bare skin of the chest. Pull the package of electrodes out of the VivaLink, taking care not to unplug the electrode cables. Remove the outer package. Then, with a firm, steady pull, carefully peel the electrodes away from the release liner. The electrodes are self-adhesive. Do not touch the adhesive surface. For easy placement on the patient's right side, find the collarbone. Place the top edge of an electrode on the collarbone adhesive side to the skin. Rub the patch down from there to seal the edges against the skin. On the patient's left side, find the lower margin of the rib cage. Place the bottom edge of the other electrode on the rib margin, adhesive side to the skin. Rub the patch up from there to seal the edges against the skin. The electrodes are interchangeable. Place one on the right upper chest of the patient, the other on the left lower chest. The electrodes must be fully in contact with the patient and connected to the AED, or you will hear this prompt.
Check electrodes.
When you hear check electrodes, make sure the chest is clean and dry, and the electrode cables are plugged in by matching the color of the mating connectors.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm.
The Vivalink automatically analyzes the patient's cardiac rhythm. Make sure no one is touching the patient during this analysis. If the Vivalink finds a shockable rhythm, you will hear this.
Charging.
The whine means the Vivalink is building a charge. The powerful electrical charge used in defibrillation may harm you or anyone else touching the patient during defibrillation. Before you deliver a shock, be sure no one is touching either the patient or any metal objects in contact with the patient. When the Vivalink is fully charged, you will hear this.
Stand clear. Push flashing button to rescue.
Push the rescue button to deliver a shock. Some hearts will resume normal rhythm with one shock. Others will require further shocks. After the first shock, the Vivalink analyzes the patient's cardiac rhythm again. Wait for instructions. Do not touch the patient. If the patient still has a shockable rhythm, the Vivalink will charge itself for another shock.
Charging. Stand clear. Push flashing button to rescue.
Push the rescue button again to deliver a second shock. After the second shock, the Vivalink analyzes the patient's cardiac rhythm again.
Charging.
If the patient still has a shockable rhythm, the Vivalink will charge again, and you will hear this prompt a third time.
Stand clear. Push flashing button to rescue.
Push the rescue button again to deliver a third shock. You don't need to be concerned about how many shocks or what strength shocks to give. The Vivalink is pre-programmed to deliver a series of 3 escalating shocks. After the third shock, you will hear this prompt.
Check pulse. If no pulse, give CPR.
If you find a pulse, support the patient's breathing. If there is no pulse, proceed with CPR.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm.
After 1 minute, the Vivalink will prompt you to do not touch patient while it analyzes the patient's cardiac rhythm again. If the rhythm is still shockable, the Vivalink will prompt you through another series of 3 shocks. American Heart Association guidelines recommend 3 shocks followed by 1 minute of CPR. If at any time during the series of shocks the Vivalink determines the patient no longer has a shockable cardiac rhythm, you will hear this voice prompt.
Check pulse. If no pulse, give CPR.
Check for a pulse. If you find no pulse, give CPR for 1 minute. The Vivalink will then prompt you to stop while it analyzes the patient's cardiac rhythm again.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm.
Leave the electrodes in place, even when you switch to CPR. Continue treatment with shocks or CPR as directed by the Vivalink until emergency personnel arrive and tell you they're ready to take control of the patient. The rescue demonstration you have just seen was slowed to allow you to understand exactly how the Vivalink AED works. In cases of real cardiac arrest, every second that passes before heart rhythm is restored to normal weakens the patient's heart muscle, so time is of the essence. Let's review the key steps in using the Vivalink AED and see just how quickly you can deliver life-saving treatment once you're familiar with the defibrillator.
Hi, need an ambulance? At 5824 Main. Yeah, we think he's had a heart attack.
Place electrode. Place electrode. Place electrode. Place electrode. Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm. Charging. Stand clear. Push flashing button to rescue. Check pulse. If no pulse, give CPR.
In minutes, you can save a cardiac arrest victim's life with the VivaLink AED. Just follow the voice prompts. The VivaLink will tell you what to do.